Alright, so let's take a few minutes to talk about the brand new patch that was just released by EA in regards to UFC 4. I'm actually really happy, to be completely honest with you guys. I'm very happy. This makes me very optimistic for the future of this game in regards to them listening to our complaints. And I've also played the game after the patch, and you can definitely tell a difference. But let's go ahead and take a look at these patch notes, and I'm going to see if I can explain to you guys the significance of some of these changes, just in case you don't understand it. So first one, as you can see right there, fixed issues that could prevent denying takedowns while moving or striking. Now let me try to explain what used to happen before the patch. So before the patch, well, first of all, keep in mind there are three ways that you can get takedowns in this game. You can shoot either a single leg or a double leg and drive them in a straight line and put them on their back, or you can shoot a single leg or double leg and you can turn them to the left or you can turn them to the right if you want to get a little bit more creative and a little bit more unpredictable with your takedowns. Now, of course, to deny the turn and takedowns, you use your left stick. And with your left stick, you have to match the direction they are turning you. If you are on the red corner, so on the left side of the screen, and your opponent shoots a takedown on you and turns you towards their right, you hold up on your left stick to deny the turn. If they turn you towards your left side, you hold down on the left stick to deny it. If you want to sprawl, as in if you want to get the takedown and end up on top of them when they shoot on you, you hold back on your left stick. Now, what used to happen in the past is when you're simply holding your left stick and you're moving your fighter around and the opponent shoots a takedown and you immediately hold the L2, R2 and try to deny the takedown, because you were initially holding your left stick, the game reads that as you trying to deny a turn-in takedown. And in case you didn't know, you cannot preemptively deny a turn-in takedown. If you do, the game is going to punish you by resulting in a body lock trip. It's a beautiful body lock trip, but that's the punish for you preemptively denying the turn-in takedown. You cannot pre-deny it. You must deny on reaction. So the game was reading you simply moving your fighter around as you pre-denying, and that was causing a lot of takedowns when it should not have worked. So now it's been fixed. Now it's the way it is the game is only going to read that left stick input after you've already pressed L2 and R2, not before. Really good change. It's really going to make denying takedowns a lot easier. And a lot of you that were making this mistake not even a mistake. A lot of you that were getting taken down and you didn't understand, like, why did I get taken down right there? I did everything correctly. That's probably what used to happen. It's not going to happen anymore. It also mentions right here that previously pressing striking modifier buttons could cause them to be interpreted as an attempt to apply a reversal to a takedown that are already started. But that's not the case anymore. They've fixed that. A denial in the past, a denial attempt made after that would then count as a late reversal attempt and therefore fail. Those two issues, as it says right here, was also affecting shooting takedowns, including the power takedowns, and it has all been fixed. So really happy to know that the power takedowns, which was legitimately overpowered, you literally couldn't deny, had to pre-deny, that has also been fixed. Now we can deny those on reaction. So already EA UFC 4 is improved with just this one fixed. Already improved. So kudos to them on that. Number 2, this one is an issue that I didn't even know existed in the game, but it's because I don't really play stand and bang modes or KO mode. Well, I haven't yet in UFC 4, so I actually had no idea that the Imanari roll was available in stand and bang. I mean, of course, stand and bang is supposed to be stand and bang, only striking. Same thing with KO mode. There's no reason why the Imanari roll should be in there, so really happy they got that one out of there. Number 3, they fixed an exploit with the cage back clinch drives. Now, this one is a little bit confusing to me. Like, I'm not really sure exactly what they're talking about. If I had to guess, I would say that this is in reference to fighter shoots a takedown on you, gets you, drives you to the cage, takes your back, climbs your back, the stamina goes way low. That was an exploit that a lot of players were taking advantage of, and I do believe that's what they fixed. So right now, if your back is taken near the cage, I don't suspect your stamina is just going to shoot down all the way anymore. I believe that's what this change is referring to. If I have any high-level players in the chat, feel free to correct me with the right information. Number 4, it says it fixed an issue with the Von Fluchok stamina. This is another one that I actually was not aware was an exploit, because I've never actually done the Von Fluchok yet. But apparently, the stamina for the attacker and defender were swapped. So what would happen is the fighter with the less stamina somehow not had the advantage, but they fixed that. So really good. Honestly, man, like a lot of these changes can be like props to you guys, because you're the ones calling out these changes. If you left it up to me, I wouldn't have known about the Von Fluchok. But because a lot of you are playing the game, you're using every single tool in the game, you're noticing bugs, exploits here and there. And because you're calling them out, we're seeing these changes happen. So for sure, keep it up. Number 5 is a very big one. It's a really big one. You might not even know this was an issue, especially if you don't really play at a high level. But the Marathoner perk was a big pain in the ass. It essentially made it so that fighters that had it, fighters like TJ Dillashaw, could throw ad infinitum. They could just throw over and over and over again, and their short-term stamina regenerates extremely quickly. And you know, in this game, a big deterrent to throwing strikes over and over and over again with barely any pause is that your short-term stamina goes down. You gotta wait for the short-term stamina to regenerate, slowly come back up. But in the past, before the fix, if you had that Marathoner perk, the short-term stamina was shooting right back up. So fighters like TJ could just go, 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 go. And it made pressure super, super strong with those fighters. So it has, as you can see right there, the effect of the perk has been drastically reduced. It was a major component of some of the issues with stamina being reported by the community. So really, really happy with that change. It is going to make using fighters like TJ Dillashaw not feel like you're cheating anymore. Pun intended. Number 6, tuned cage guillotine chain progress. Now, what this one's talking about is before this change happened, if you got somebody in the guillotine against the cage, so if you put them in single under, wrap your arm around them, get the guillotine. Usually the game gives you a prompt. You can press a button, either triangle, sometimes it's X, or maybe it's the same exact button every single time. I don't know. I don't use that submission all the time, but you get a prompt. The prompt allows you to chain the submission, aka change from a guillotine to something else. And before, that chain puts you farther into the second submission than you should have been, right? So every submission has stages, of course. The first stage, second stage, third stage. So for example, you get the cage guillotine, you chain it, it takes you from the cage guillotine, for example, and puts you, just an example, it takes you from the cage guillotine and puts you into stage 4 of an armbar or something like that, like a triangle or something like that. That was a problem, and it made the chains way too strong. That has been it's been fixed. So you can see right there it says the cage guillotine was granting too much progress to the attacker when they hit the chain. We reduced the amount of progress granted by that chain to be a similar amount to other chains. And it says right there that the team is still investigating changes to balance as it relates to the standing guillotine. And I'm really happy about that, because there's just something super wonky. It's not just about the stamina. It's not just about the chain. There's probably a bunch of different things wrong with that standing guillotine, because it is extremely powerful. Right now, hands down, the most powerful submission in the game, and the one that the cheesers gravitate towards. So very happy to hear that they'll be investigating changes to balance it in the future. Of course, the more we find bugs. Number 7, as you can see right there, is in regards to the AI. To those of us that enjoy playing the AI, I'm really, really happy about that. right there it says, this is a funny one. In guard and half guard, AIs will now avoid striking with the hand holding the opponent's head. So let's go ahead and break this down a little bit. In full guard, if you're the fighter on the bottom, as well as in half guard, if you're the guy on the bottom, usually your fighter on the bottom is going to hold the fighter on top, back of the head with one hand. That hand that you're using to hold the back of the fighter's head, keeping him from posturing up, if you strike him, excuse me, if you strike him with that same arm, the same arm that you're using to hold him down, that's going to give him a free posture up. A lot of players don't know this, and what happens is when you get them to the ground and you have them in full guard or half guard, if you're a high level player, you just wait for them. You know they're going to try to hit you with the same exact arm holding down your head. They do that, you get a free posture up, you rain down ground and pound. The AI was being really dumb in doing the same thing, but they fixed that. Now the AI will not strike you with the hand holding the opponent's head down. Kudos. Really, really good change. The AI is not going to be dumb anymore. Next one is in regards to the AI Clinch Frequency. This is the one a lot of you guys argue with me about while playing through career mode. Because I used to, I would complain about it. I tell you guys the AI is clinching a little bit too much. I don't like that. And you guys would just tell me, get good. That's not a problem. Learn to avoid the clinch, which is a very funny thing to say, especially if you're a brand new player. But right there, as you can see, they understood it is a bug. The game was not intended that way. Because what used to happen is, regardless of the AI, whether it's a boxer, kickboxer, wrestler, jiu-jitsu fighter, they were all clinch spammers. They would just get you in a clinch over and over and over again, and it was a pain. It was a pain to deal with. No one should have to deal with that. They fixed that. So reduced AI clinch frequency. Happy about that. As you can see right there, it didn't say that they made it so the AI never goes for a clinch. The AI is still going to go for a clinch. They've just reduced how often they do it. So very, very happy about that. Next one, you guys are really going to love this one. Significantly reduced the damage of all strikes from dominant side control. That includes the knees. Side control has been an issue in MMA games for as long as I can remember. That it goes all the way back to UFC Undisputed 3. The side control in UFC Undisputed 3 was busted as well. It translated to UFC 1. It was busted in UFC 1, busted in UFC 2. UFC 3, side control was also an issue. In UFC 4, side control is also very, very powerful. It's just the one position that game developers just they've not quite gotten that down properly. But a really good start is the fact that now you can't, you still can if your opponent is not trying to get out of side control and they just let you just wail strikes on them. You can still pile up a lot of damage from that position, but the amount of damage you can now do from that position has been significantly reduced, and you guys are going to be very happy about that. Next up, number 9, it says tuned body strike damage. Now for this one, I'm not really sure who asked for this right here. I know high-level players were asking for an upgrade to how much damage you can do with hooks and uppercuts to the body, because you could tell these shots were not doing enough damage. So we were asking for updates to hooks and uppercuts to the body, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure who asked for updates for the jabs and straights, man, because I felt they were okay. I personally felt they were fine. The jabs and the straights, they're easier to land, of course, than the hooks and the uppercuts, and I thought they were fine. They're really good pokes, but apparently they increased damage of all shots to the body when you're punching. Jabs, straights, hooks, and uppercuts, and we're going to see how that works out. Of course, if it ends up being too overpowered, this is something that they can go back and adjust as well. So overall, happy about the change. Now we can work the body better. It says right there, the damage is proportional to the stamina drain and the stamina cost. So this change indirectly impacts the stamina drain for your opponent, as well as the cost of throwing the strikes. Important part, but be careful not to miss. as the increased cost will punish missed strikes even more. Not to mention running into uppercuts. Don't spam body shots. Don't do it. Next up is move updates and perks for some fighters. Now, for this one, I am not super sure exactly what all the updates were. I couldn't really find it all. So I have a couple of them here, as you can see right there. For Justin Gaethje, I said most likely his lead leg kick got upgraded. For Amanda Nunes, she was definitely missing body teeps and front kicks. She now has that. Valentina Shevchenko didn't have a crucifix. Now she has a crucifix. Dan Hooker, he got a teep kick upgrade. Eddie Alvarez, he could not clinch. Same thing with John Lineker. Now they can clinch. If you guys really want me to go find exactly what the moves and perks update were for all these fighters, I can definitely dig a little bit deeper, and I'm going to let you guys know what they were either on Twitter. My Twitter is at MarshallMind1, or I could do a post on Instagram. Instagram is at MarshallMindArt. So just let me know in the comments if you guys really got to know what the updated moves as well as perks for these fighters were. Number 11, updated Archetype movesets. Now, when they say Archetype movesets, it's in reference to your calves, your creative fighters. Now, in case you guys didn't know, you cannot just make a calf right now and give them whatever stats, whatever move set, whatever perks that you want. We now have archetypes. So different strikers, and within a boxer, there's like two types. There's, I believe, a boxer, there's like the sniper and the powerhouse. Same thing for kickboxer, wrestler, jiu-jitsu. And they said right there, they added the Eminari and the Osotogari to archetypes Shark and Vanguard. These are grappler archetypes. So really, and also added the Ostogari to Engine. I also believe this is a grappler archetype for your calf. Next up, number 12, it says updated fighter records based off of recent events that took place before August 14. I'm not really sure what the updates are or what fighters got their records updated, but it's a good sign to see that they're going to update these fighters based on what actually happens in real life. That is something that EA promised to do for UFC 4. It's very good to see that they are keeping to their word. And the last one is Kimbo Slice. His grappling ratings were updated. Now, probably it got reduced. I don't know exactly what the update was. But that happened. But man, that is it. That's really it for the patch. Like I said, man, I like the fact that we got one. I like the fact that what we did get were complaints made by the community. It gives me hope knowing that we can make complaints and they listen, as long as they're reasonable, of course. Now, there are quite a few other things that I do believe they need to fix. One of them is still in regards to the clinch. Right now, you could just spam the clinch over and over again, and the vulnerability on getting hit as you're trying to get into the clinch is way too low. There's damn near no vulnerability in regards to that. That's going to need to be fixed to combat the constant clinching that we see online. It's way too much. It's just way too much. Fighters can just spam it over and over again. If they up the vulnerability on getting hit as you're trying to enter the clinch, that's gonna positively affect that. Of course, I also called out my issue with the front leg side kick to the body, which a couple of you tried arguing with me about, which I genuinely don't understand why you would try to argue with me about that. I mean, if you can provide me a situation where a fighter was going for a front leg side kick to the body and his opponent simply did a small lateral movement. I'm not talking about a lunge. I'm not referring to a minor or major lunge out the way to avoid a front leg side kick. I'm saying they just did like a slow motion walk to the side and it avoids the front leg side kick. I would love to see a footage of that. But I can also show you a lot of footage of fighters moving laterally to each side and the attacker able to still hit them in the body with a front leg side kick as they were moving to the side. So that definitely has to be fixed. Another one that I personally have an issue with, and I've also explained, I've told them about it. They agree it's an issue. They agree they need to fix it. It's probably going to be a difficult fix, but I'm really hoping it's on the horizon, is your front kick's being transformed into a knee at the absolute worst time. So what happens is, if you are in kicking range and you try to throw a front kick to the head or a front kick to the body, if the opponent advances even a little bit, the game is going to read that as, oh, your opponent is he's advancing. He's going to go from kicking range and enter knee, elbow range. We're going to morph your strike into a knee. That's a problem. Because a lot of times what opponents will do is they'll inch forward and then back up. And as they're inching forward and you're trying to catch them with their front kick, with the front kick as they're trying to enter the pocket, and they back up, your front kick gets transformed into a knee. It leaves you wide open. They can hit you with a head kick. It's happened to me a few times. So that most definitely is going to need to be fixed. A few bugs as well with the ground and pound, especially with the blocking. So right now on the ground, you can frame punches if they're going side to side. You can frame like that. Big issue with the framing is not as quick as the ground and pound. So you can't go like this. It's like pause and then like that. You know what I mean? We need to be able to frame quicker. So if a fighter is going hook, 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 I want to be able to boom, 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 and frame as the shot. I have to be able to match the speed of the ground and pound, or what's the point? So I also believe there's also a bug on the ground. One of the high-level players called it out, where if you get hit as you're trying to frame, it disables your block completely. The next shot lands clean. That's a problem. It's a major issue, which is also what makes ground and pound right now just ridiculously OP. So just quite a few more things that they're going to need to fix. Of course, I would like to see more updates to fighter models, character models. Francis Ngannou, his character model is wrong. I want to see updates to fighter idols, their stance, their movement. And of course, keep updating fighters in the future as they change in real life. I'd love to see that. But man, overall, really, really happy for these changes. Again, very optimistic for the future that we're going to get more changes. And we're going to leave it at that. Thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, do not forget to leave a like on it. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about these changes. Are you happy? Are you kind of still about the game? Let me know in the comments. Follow me on Twitter at MarshallMind1. On Instagram, it is at MarshallMindArt. And I will see you guys later with a brand new one. As always, stay safe. Peace out, folks.